Am I the asshole for not giving up my seat for my friend? I, 16F, just sat for my physics final this morning. I get there around 20 minutes before it starts, and I find a pretty good seat that's not way up front but also not in the back. We don't have an exam hall, we just pass in the classrooms, so the teacher can't really see me well. I usually sit in this spot because I tend to stress a lot if I'm way up front, but in the back the teacher's always peering over my shoulder. My friend, let's call her Riley, 16F, comes in 5 minutes before the teacher comes over and she is in distress. Apparently she forgot to revise an entire chapter and only found out when she got to school. She's hysterically crying about how she's gonna fail and all. Me and a couple friends comfort her, trying to reassure her that she'll be fine. She takes one look at the classroom, sees where I'm sat and practically demands me to switch seats with her so she can pull out her little cheat sheet. We are not allowed those at all, and at least try to make up for it. The spot she was supposed to sit in? Right in front of the teacher's desk. I immediately said no and just told her to hope for the best, but I am not going to risk making stupid mistakes for her to cheat when she was too busy partying to revise for the test. She tried to just sit in my seat until I gave up, but I just wouldn't let it happen. The exam ended up being all about that one chapter. After the exam, I was waiting for my bus when she, her twin brother and her best friend walked up to me. She screamed at me at how she's going to fail because she didn't even finish all the questions, and if I wasn't selfish and too scared of ruining my perfect streak of grades in physics she might have done well. Most of my classmates think I should have given her up my seat, but the ones closest to me say otherwise. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You actually did your friend a favor. One hopes that someday she will stop relying on cheating, and buckle down and learn the material. You know, the sort of stuff she's paying the school good money to teach her. Not the asshole. Her poor planning is not your responsibility. Not the asshole. She tries to find someone else responsible for her mistake. A lot of people do that. Ignore her. Not the asshole. What's next? She's gonna blame you for everything bad in her life. Once she knows you are a pushover, she's gonna use you until you dried up. Those that think you are wrong are the people that would want you to help them cheat too if they were in Riley's shoe. Not the asshole. You had real reasons for choosing the seat you did. It's not like you just randomly chose a seat and then refused to switch with her. Why should you have to risk compromising your grade so she can do better? That's not your responsibility. Not the asshole. Yeah, wouldn't give up my seat to someone so they could cheat more easily. You want to pass the class, study like you are supposed to. I don't understand your classmates though. Why should one person get a free pass from studying? Just wait until you get to uni and get a class that's graded on a bell curve. Am I the asshole for expecting my wife to help me pay back my student loans from her inheritance? My wife is a SOM for our 2 kids and I work full-time as the sole income provider for the family. I am slowly working on paying back my student loans. My wife recently received a relatively large inheritance, about 5x the amount of my student loans. A month after everything regarding the inheritance was settled, I talked with my wife about using the inheritance to pay off my loans. She refused to give me any of the money and said the inheritance belongs only to her. I told her that, yes, legally that's true, but we are a family and we should share our resources to make our burdens easier. She disagreed and said my student loans predate our marriage and are my sole responsibility. I felt like she was being unfair to our relationship and to us as a family, so the next day I told her that if she was not going to help me pay off her student loans, now that she has money I will not be paying for any expense that is solely hers, like clothes, eating out, flights, makeup, spas, new phone, etc. Instead I will be putting that money towards my loans to pay them back faster. She accused me of being controlling with money and abusing my position as the income earner, but I don't see why I should be responsible for all that when she has her own money now. Am I the asshole? Yeah, it would be sensible of her to use that money to help you with your loans to generally put your family in a better financial position. Yes, it's abusing your position as income earner to deny her money for herself. Unless you're paying her a salary for watching the children, then she is enabling you to make your salary and is entitled to money too. Not the asshole, and I say that as a SOM. You can't have it both ways. Y'all are headed for divorce at this rate. Info. You say your wife is a stay-at-home mom. Are you paying her for what would be your half of the cost of childcare if she were working? If not, then you paying for her personal items as that compensation. I think you're both being childish about it, but the bigger issue here is why is she refusing to share her inheritance when it's 5x your loan amount? I could understand if it was close to the amount, but she would still have a large inheritance, so something else is going on here. I understand why you came to your decision, but you're married. Now is not the time to be petty. Everyone sucks here, and talk to your wife. Info. What are her plans with the money? Is she putting away for children education, home purchase? Or is she just hoarding it as hers and not the family's? Am I the asshole for selling my husband's PS5? Hear me out. IF35 bought my husband M37 a PS5 for his birthday a couple of months ago. He was beyond thrilled because he's a gamer, but it's been a while since he gamed. Let me say that the house has been a literal war zone ever since my husband started playing with the PS. He started having rage fits, cusses a lot, throws and breaks expensive stuff like headphones and watch and glasses and his phone. He said it's his normal reaction from being frustrated by losing a round in a game. I told him this is no way to live because the house is in constant state of anxiety and negativity, and my husband's behavior, to me, seemed to be worsening because of how easily he could cuss out and lash out now. I told him if gaming makes him stressed out then he needs to quit. He was like, okay, I will try to tone it down from now on out, but don't blame me for being frustrated with how messed up these games have become lately. Well, on Tuesday I come home and find the place a mess. $300 game chair was broken and all the stuff on the desk thrown on the floor. I asked him about what happened and he nonchalantly told me he lost a round. I lost it on him and told him that I was done cleaning his mess and paying for replacement for every item he destroys, and let him know he ran out of chances and the PS5 has now negative impact and needed to go. He said it had nothing to do with the PS5, so I told him the PS5 needs to be sold to pay for damages he caused. He threw a fit, but I sold it online. He called me a monster and said that it was selfish of me to return gift that was for him. Yes, I get that it's a gift meant for him, but I paid for it and also I'm the one who has to deal with damages since I'm the breadwinner in the house. He went into shut-down mode and keeps sleeping instead of spending time with me. Oh hell no, that is not a normal reaction to anything. Not the asshole, that man needs so much therapy. Not the asshole, see if you can sell the husband 2 tears of joy. Not the asshole. Though I would have kept the PS5 and ditched the husband. Not the asshole. Raging like that is not normal behavior when you lose a round, take that from a gamer. Either way, he caused the damages and those have consequences. You were very clear on what those consequences might be and he fucked around and found out. Honestly it sounds like you're taking care of a 13-year-old boy with rage issues. As a lifelong gamer, and a married man, you're not the asshole here. He needs to get his shit sorted out, and figure out what is making him so ridiculously quick to freak out when he loses. Not the asshole. Dear Lord, he's lucky you sold the PS5 instead of leaving his ass. Am I the asshole for being proud of my job and embarrassing my aunt? I, 25M, have a vocational degree in plumbing but have been working as a septic tank cleaner, pipe cleaner for 5 years. Before going down this path I initially wanted to be a clinical psychologist, however the fear of debt made me pursue a trade instead. This was the best decision I ever made as, unlike my brother and friends, I have no debt and make 65 kelvins a year. And #X200B. My problems began with my aunt, who is an elitist, to say the least. She believes that any job that doesn't require a university degree is not a real job. This became apparent when we went out to dinner with several family members. During dinner, the topic of jobs came up because my brother and I have not seen some of them since we were kids. My brother started by telling them about how he is at university studying to become a nuclear technician. When it was my turn I explained how I had my plumbing degree and work as a septic tank cleaner. And #X200B. This disgusted my aunt, who called me an absolute failure and said that I should be like my brother. She then went on to say that I should go to college and get a real job before it is too late. She also went on about how no woman will want to date a man who makes as little as I do. This is when I decided to embarrass her by going on a small rant. I explained how people like me are the ones who help prevent the spread of disease and the reason why people don't have to think about what happens after they flush their toilet. I then proceed to tell her that selling MLM beauty products is not a real job and can criticize me when she actually brings something to the table. And #X200B. After the dinner, my parents were not too pleased because they believed that the way I dealt with her was too rude and I should not have stooped so low. I will admit that going after her for selling MLM beauty products was a dick move, as she is a victim and does not know any better. Despite this, I feel that I am justified, as I would not have gone there if she had not insulted my education and profession. And #X200B. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole, she dished it out in the first place. All you did is smash the ball back into her court. The old saying is, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Not the asshole. She insults your smart move to not get into debt and get a good job. That can't be outsourced, by the way, that pays good money. I absolutely think it makes sense to bring it home by using her MLM scam as a perfect example of failure. On a side note, do you mind if I PM you about the septic tank job with some questions? I've been looking for a career switch and specifically looking for things that can't be outsourced. Well, MLM isn't a real job. It's being a burden on your friends and family when she lays on the guilt trips to support her small business. Lol. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. There's a reason people joke about plumbers driving luxury cars and owning boats, it's because they do. And unlike other jobs, there isn't a way, so far, to automate or offshore plumbing. Yay for job security. This is another case where I wish for a justified asshole vote. Were you an asshole? Yes. Were you justified? Totally. Your aunt's behavior was atrocious, and it's quite hypocritical of her to demand you get a real job when she doesn't have anything resembling a real job of her own. And, let's be honest, you have a real job, an important job that probably wasn't even left on fewer hours during the current pandemonium. That's how important your job is. Since the official standing is that we should use not the asshole instead of ya. See above, I'll go with that. As a fellow tradesperson, preach it, brother, sister. You are absolutely not the asshole. It seems like the only people who think our jobs aren't real jobs are the highly educated. The world stops moving without skilled labor and blue-collar workers. You can clearly see the effects of a shortage of tradespeople and blue-collar workers. Can't say I have ever had a shortage of white-collar workers affect my day-to-day.